Welcome back. First Charged Up is wrapping up in the off-season, and we are joined by a great guest tonight. We'll be taking a look at a list of various topics that ranges from updates to first mission and to new products also being released by AndyMark. Stay tuned for a giveaway for later in the show for some of these new products. All of this and more coming up on this edition of FRC Roundup.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Fun is continuing to grow and looking for new ad partners for the 2024 season. If your organization has a positive message to spread to our over 250,000 unique viewers, go to firstupdatesnow.com/contact to get more information.
All right, welcome to the show. If you have not caught our show previously, FRC Roundup is where we take a look at important topics currently happening in FRC, highlight some discussion points about events that may have happened, strategy, or really anything that correlates with FRC. If you, the fun community, think that there is a topic that we should discuss on FRC Roundup, please feel free to ping me on the Fun Discord, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Mathis. I'm currently in the 1st in Michigan region, and I'm currently a design mentor for Team 33, the Killer Bees.
And I'm Connor McBride, mentor for Team 166 Chop Shop, MC and game announcer in the New England District. Our guest tonight is Andy Baker. Andy is the owner of AndyMark and lead technical mentor for Team 45, the Technocats. Andy, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity and the time you guys spent to do this. It's great.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and jump into our first topic of the night. It'll be a relatively quick one, but wanted to highlight some important people that we've unfortunately have passed away in the past couple of weeks. We'll start with Dr. Murphy. I know that Andy, you had a pretty lengthy Chief Delphi post out there about Dr. Murphy and his meeting to first and whatnot. So I guess I'll just kind of throw it to you to kick us off.
Yeah, Dr. Murphy had a big goal to live to be 100 years old, and he made it. So his birthday was in November 11th, and he passed away on November 30th. He lived in Florida, and for the past, really, since first founded, he's been a first supporter all that time. He helped Dean. I mean, Dean is the founder of First, but he and Woody were monumental in helping Dean found and get First going those early years, from just being an inspiration. Like Dr. Murphy's father was a Nobel Prize winner, and it was kind of a shame to Dean that people didn't know about Dr. Murphy's father. So I thought, well, we need to create a program where scientific and engineering role models are attainable for students to know who they are, instead of students emulating sports heroes. So that was an impetus of the start of First. And early on, you could only build parts out of materials that were in your kit or out of the Small Parts catalog. Small Parts Incorporated was one of Dr. Murphy's businesses, and that helped teams attain the parts they needed, because there weren't COTS parts back then for mobile robotics. But Dr. Murphy was a huge supporter over the years, and may he rest in peace.
Sure. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. We did unfortunately lose another member, former fun member, Nick Murray. I know Tyler had some interactions with him. I'm personally not super familiar with him, Connor nor, so I guess I'll bring Tyler on to say a few words about Nick Murray.
Oh, thanks a lot, Nick. And I'm sorry my cam's not working right now, but yeah, super unfortunate to lose a member of our fun family and a big prominent figure in the First family as well too, both in Texas and California and beyond as well. And Mike Corsetto definitely had a wonderful thread with that. But whenever we lose somebody in our fun family, something like that, it hurts. And Nick was a great contributor to our content that we made. He brought a lot of passion out there up in Michigan as well too. I totally forgot he was on 1684 for a while, all throughout the year. So Nick went through a lot. I know in his final years he got both a lot of positive and some things that and he was looking for a donor and stuff like that too. That was unfortunate. So, but Nick, thank you for everything you've done for the community. And for those who haven't read the Chief Delphi thread, please go do so and give your condolences for Nick, and our condolences are with all his teams that he's influenced as well as the entire First family.
Yep. Thanks, Tyler. All right, so jumping into one of our main topic of the night, or one main topic of the night, got released a little bit ago, but thought it was important to cover. About just over 2 weeks ago, First released their updated mission statement, and I thought it was important to highlight. There was two main things that I wanted to kind of look into that were also commented on the Chief Delphi there that I posted about it. But I thought the removal of mentor-based program in the mission statement was interesting. I think it came. I guess to me, I think it's a little bit distasteful, but it's not a secret that a lot of the success that teams have and the inspiration that comes from students is a big part of the mentor community that is in First. So I know that from my time when I was on the team, from being an alumni, without the mentors that I had, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today. So I thought that was interesting to remove from the overall statement. One of the things that I also thought, specifically, Jared HK makes a good point, that the shift from leaders to preparing the world of tomorrow, I thought was a really good addition. Obviously, directly pointing out leaders is, an interesting point to use, but I thought transferring it to the world of tomorrow gets that broader spectrum and more of the mission that First is really trying to accomplish in that standpoint. So, Connor, I know you've had obviously some time to look at it as well, but any overall comments from you?
I wasn't entirely thrilled with the removal. Geez, I can't talk of mentor-based. That's always something that that's always stood out to me the most in the First mission statement. Ultimately, though, I think as long as we're getting like the whole point across of the entire program, this program is to inspire the next generation of the next generation of this world. So as long as we're moving in that direction, or still moving in that direction, I should say, that's all that it matters to me.
Yeah, sure. Andy, any comments?
Yeah. I think if we were just looking at FRC, I agree with you guys. And
Sure.
FRC is very much a mentor based. The secret sauce of FRC is the mentor-student relationship, the mentor involvement, and inspiration both ways. But it's a magical thing when you involve the mentors and kids working together. But by far, the majority of students who are in First are not in FRC. They're in FTC or FLL. And I think I heard this summer that there might even there's more students in FTC than there are in FRC. I think I heard someone say that this summer. Might not be right. Someone needs to check that, but I'm pretty sure.
Surprised.
Yeah.
But let alone FLL. I mean, First Leg League has tons more kids than FRC and FTC probably combined. So if you look at the whole umbrella of First, I agree with the updating of the mission statement, because those two programs are a lot less mentor focused. They're more about just preparing the students to make a positive impact in our world. So I like shorter mission statements. I thought their first one was pretty long. The one that they've had for a while. I'd rather it be a little more succinct and to the point. So I was surprised by this. No one that I knew saw this coming. And usually you see something like that coming on the horizon. But
going through waves of reviews and whatnot. Reaching out to stakeholders and.
Well, I'm sure there's people that saw it coming. I mean, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes, but I didn't see it coming. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess based off of that follow-up question, was there any Woody Flowers Award winners that were involved in that update, or was that pretty blind to the community as well?
We were surprised too. So we just met as a committee on the same weekend as Dr. Murphy's birthday. We actually met in Florida. We were trying to meet with Dr. Murphy, but his health wouldn't allow him to be met. I mean, he So anyway, we met during the same weekend in Florida, and that was before first announced this mission statement update.
Okay.
And none of us, it wasn't even a subject we talked about.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
Noted. All right, we'll go ahead and jump into our next topic of the night. Another threat on Chief Delphi that gained some traction over the past couple weeks that I think provides an interesting discussion to talk about. The original poster on this one was Drew T from 1388, and it was a discussion based off of looking at rank or EPA to win an event. The original post kind of goes on to discuss that the team that the OP is participating on is a mid to high level team, top 15% in EPA from Statbotics in California, and that they're trying to qualify for the championship. Basically discusses on when is there a certain point to try to prioritize rank versus teams overall capability or showing off and being consistent in that standpoint. So I thought this brought up a lot of interesting points that were raised throughout the thread. It's 54 posts now, so there's been some good discussion on it. But coming from my experience a little bit, being on a team that in high school that wasn't of the elite caliber, I would say. When we always discussed on trying to have that balance between we want to rank high, we want to be able to pick our own alliance, but at the same time we need to be realistic of what our capabilities are and understand on when there needs to be a better shift to focusing on being consistent at what we're good at and showing those teams that are in that picking position, rightfully earned that we are somebody that might be able to work with well with them. So for me, one of the things that we always used was we would, obviously throughout the tournament try to increase those ranks as high as possible. And then once we got to a point where we were, physically, mathematically eliminated from the top 8, we would shift to a strategy that would still play in with our alliance partners, in those matches to make sure that we were winning those matches, but also try to capitalize and be able to show specifically what we were good at and being consistent at that. Obviously, with me being on 33 now and being in a different scenario, one of the things that we look for in those alliance partners, not only at the second pick, but the first pick too, that they're super consistent in what they do and that they match well with our robot. So that's kind of my standpoint from it, being the two avenues and the two viewpoints that I've got to see that through. But Connor, obviously you're a drive coach, over in New England. What do you view the overall rank versus EPA discussion as?
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting. So I mean, I could go either way on this because I mean, like rank is the way that we kind of view it as it is right now. So like the first thing that I think of like when I see like or EPA is like this kind of plays in a little bit with Recycle Rush, where it wasn't based off of like your win loss. It was like all your points like accumulated and then divided up by the amount of matches. So it was a lot
Right.
more kind of like spread out. So like I've looked back at this before. So like at the events that my team competed at, like we finished like 4th, 6th at the end of quals. But if you looked at like the win-loss record, oh my God, we would have been like towards like the bottom almost like
Right.
every single event. So
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
yeah. It like yeah, I don't know. And then like with rank, there's a lot of ways that you can manipulate rank. One of them is like, is there any kind of like low hanging fruit RP? So like I think of like 2018, like there was a ranking point where you just needed all 3 robots to cross
Cross the line.
the auto line and put a cube on your correct side of the switch. Or in 2019, if you just got someone to do a level 3 climb and then a level 1 drive up, it was perfect. So like there's a team in New Hampshire, 1922 Osram. All they did was hatch panels, but they had a level 3 hab climb. So, and like they were able to hit that climb every single time. And if they had someone just drive up onto level 1, they were at least guaranteeing themselves a ranking point every single match.
Yeah, because the one thing, Andy, and then I'll go to you. But there's an interesting perspective on robot design too, right? There's 2 ways you can really approach it from like a mid-level tier team. At least what I was on. We always looked at is, okay, do we want to build a robot that is going to win events, or do we want to build an absolute RP machine? So a lot of the times we would just build robots that would completely excel at completing the RPs. So whether that would be, for example, like in 22, like maybe that means a logo robot, but puts 16 balls in the logo every match to get to that 20 that was needed for the RP. So it's interesting that you can also view it that in the robot design phase as well. But Andy, I'll go to you.
I don't think they're quite the same thing. obviously, I don't think the OP does either, but I think RPs lead to a high rank and a
Sure.
successful like division or district or statewide ranking. So I think you got to start with the RPs, and I think like you said earlier, Nick. I think it was you that said. I mean, if you're mathematically eliminated from being in the top 8 or top 10, and you want to showcase what you're doing, you still want to win the match, but you want to show what you can do to be a good partner for the picking teams. But I think it so much pivots on the RPs. I mean, there's there's 4 available almost every match, almost
Right.
every year. There's 4 available, and you can still get 2 RPs even if you don't win the match. I mean, there's many times you're going up against a really good powerhouse alliance in a qual match, and your goal could be, okay, let's try to win the match, but least we got to do is get
Right.
2 RPs.
Let's focus on getting those 2 extra. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good avenue to look
Yeah.
at it. Okay, well, before we go ahead and jump into one of our final topics of the night, we'll go ahead and bring Tyler back on to talk about our show sponsor, Kettering University, and start our giveaway from AndyMark.
Can I just say, by the way, we have the 2022 competition playing. Man, that game was so much better than Charged Up. Just watching that.
Yeah, I
out
agree.
there.
I
So,
agree.
That game.
yeah, this was like not watching that
Right.
game for so long. It is so much more exciting to watch than what Charged Up was. So
I think Charged Up and like I don't want to go on a tangent, but Charged Up and Rapid React really hit 2 different aspects, right? Rapid React really focused on quick and super entertaining, where the design challenge for Charged Up was like a really interesting way to approach, right? Because we had done a lot of various balls and shooting and whatnot, but
Yep.
the cone aspect, and it was a pain. I mean, I'll be honest with you, designing the manipulators for that and trying to go about aspects on how to obtain it and whatnot was a very interesting design topic. But Tyler, go ahead. Sorry.
all right, no, that's all right. No, so we'll be talking about our show sponsor in just a moment, but we also do have some giveaways from Andy and AndyMark as well too for a couple things. So we have the AM Tool Circle T-shirt, which you can select your size on there, and also for some compliance stars. These are some new products we'll be talking about a little bit later. So I know Andy's going to be talking about that, but we have a gray, black, and blue compliance star that AndyMark will be giving away as well. So if you're interested in winning this, type in 20 years because AndyMark is going to be celebrating 20 years starting next year. So make sure you type in 20 years. That's your opportunity to win. We'll draw for that in a little bit. And don't forget, if you do win, please send First Updates Now message on Discord or admin at firstupdatesnow.com with all your shipping information. And if you're winning a t-shirt, please send us your size as well, or you get extra small. With that said, let's go over and thank our show sponsor for the show, Kettering University. Kettering University, by the way, if you're accepted in the Kettering University, you can apply for a $5,000 a year scholarship by heading over to kettering.edu/first. Over 30% of high school students 30% of students that attend Kettering University were in high school robotics. So if you think Kettering University could be a great fit for you, go and see if you can schedule a tour, both virtual or in person, at kettering.edu/first. They have an incredible robotics center, as well as esports arena, combat robotics, and more. So once again, head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Tyler. Jumping into the next topic, we're going to be talking about AndyMark's new releases. On December 1st, there was a slew of products that were released from the folks at AndyMark that have been working hard on that. So, Andy, I guess I'll just go ahead and throw it to you. I know that there was a list of a ton of items that came out that are super useful. Big fans of the new compliance stars, but I'll go ahead and throw it to you on stuff you wanted to highlight, and then we can go from there and have a discussion about that.
Yeah, I'll start with the compliance star. We've been selling the Entraption star for many years. It was a water jet cut silicon star, and it was good, but it needed an update. So we used our polycarbonate core and our typical green, orange, blue, black, gray durometer color scale from 35 durometer up to 80 durometer. So those different colors obviously mean different durometers. And so I can think almost every year that we've had FTC and FRC, you could use these stars to collect game objects or whatever you want to do with the game piece, maybe to get it in off the field or off the carpet. So they're pretty lightweight, and they're perforated in a way that there's little notches that you can use to clip down the stars so that the diameter gets smaller. Obviously, once you clip it, you can't add on the pieces again. So you got to be careful doing that. But there's little notches to show you how to make each length of the star tip the same length, and that might help you.
Yeah, that's definitely a welcome point. I like the idea of having the lines on it, so you can, because I like, for this year we were trying to prototype getting cones up off the floor, and we were cutting the 2-inch compliant wheels, like the flex wheels, and obviously they didn't get cut, correctly. So you just got this giant, non-concentric thing wrote. It was funny, but anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, we and last year we ran some custom colored low durometer compliant wheels, and we haven't thought about that yet for compliant stars. Maybe in the future, if there's demand, we could have low durometer custom color compliant stars, maybe if the demand is high enough. We'll see. Another thing would be some pneumatic components that are key upgrades from prior years. We've got a big aluminum tank, like a 3.8 milliliter or 3.8 liter aluminum tank, and we have a big heavy duty high duty cycle Viair compressor to go with your robot. They don't have to go together, but the compressor is 100% duty cycle. It means you can turn it on, and it's just going to keep pumping, and it won't get things all hot, and it won't knock itself out like the smaller ones do, because they're only like, I don't know, 10% duty cycle or something.
Right.
Now it is heavier. It does comply with the FRC robot rules, and there were a couple teams that ran with these large Viair compressors this past year. We saw them out on a couple of teams' robots. Okay. I know that Chris Foltz and I were talking about it because 234 Cyber Blue had it on their robot last year. They loved it. I think they liked the higher duty cycle compared to with the weight price they had to pay. So
sure,
it's a lot more expensive, but it's one of those. It's you get what you pay for with a high duty cycle. And the aluminum tank that goes with it, or goes with our pneumatic system, it's just a higher durable air reservoir compared to the plastic tanks that we have from Clippard and the older white ones that we have that are still used by many teams. So it's just another option if you want to go with a metal tank. It's easy to get. Another nice I guess pair there's 3 or 4 products that go together would be not only are we starting to sell black polybelt or black flat polybelt, that's I think it's 90 thou thick polybelt, pretty thick stuff, but we're also selling a welder clamp and a hot knife that goes with it, so you can actually like weld this in place on your robot pretty easily.
Big fan.
We'll have some videos on how to do the I think there's some videos coming up with how to do the polybelt welder clamp tool. We don't have those yet. They'll come around. Yeah, that's it. So the welder clamp tool is pretty cool, pretty handy. It's pretty small. It's not very big, and it fits in on your robot as you want to put your belts on.
That's sweet.
And I think we're still waiting on a couple pieces for that. So yeah, check out the back in stock date. Looks like it's next week. So we're trying to get these things in stock, ready for teams before kickoff or by kickoff. Another thing that goes with the polybelt would be the polybelt roller. I think we have a 3/8 hex and a 1/2-inch hex roller, like a crowned. I think it's an old Mecanum wheel roller that we've retooled to work.
Oh, there you go.
In this case, so we had to redo the tool a little bit, but it's it'll work for this. We have most of our wheels and rollers. We have interchangeable cores for the different hexes or the different centers for those things. So our molder pulls out the different core and changes it out and makes these now into 3/8 and half-inch hex.
Nice.
Um,
Real quick, we do have a question from chat for you, Andy.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it takes the Viair compressor to fill up the aluminum tank?
Now, on my team, on 45, we actually ran the aluminum tank last year before we took off pneumatics between weeks, our week 1 and week 3 district. And I think it took over 2 minutes, but that was with the smaller compressor.
The older compressor, okay.
So, good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I think I'm guessing between 1 and 2 minutes. So it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It's a big tank.
It's a big tank. I think I think 5 or 6. I can't remember. It's so that's 37
1 gallon.
Yeah, it's about a gallon, right? That's a lot of air.
Yeah.
So the Clipper tank is 574. So that's about 7 times the size, 6 or 7 times the size of a Clipper black tank.
That's
awesome.
insane.
So
yeah, that's sweet.
If you want to, if you do well without having leaks and you pump this thing up, your compressor might not turn on during the whole match.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
right. Then, so one thing I wanted to highlight too, probably one of my favorite products that you guys released recently, the snap latch. I thought that was a super cool thing. If you wanted to discuss a little bit about that.
Snap latch, we're getting parts in. We're getting some final parts in for this. We don't have it quite in stock yet, but this is aimed at bumpers. I mean,
a lot of people
were using
this then.
This is the aim of what we're trying to do here is correctly size the McMaster snap latch that people use for bumpers. So it's a bigger version of a similar product, and it's on a hole pattern that's half-inch pitches.
Okay.
And that's different than what McMaster has. So this is slightly bigger, a little more robust, and will do well for bumpers. So our goal is to have it ready during build season. Worst case, we'll have it plenty of time for people to work on their bumpers.
Yeah, no, big fan of that. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again, Andy, and all the folks at AndyMark for working hard on a lot of those products. I like I said, big fan of the compliance stars. I'm sure if the game provides, we'll be finding a way to use them on 33. So, Andy, before you go, you're about to hop on a plane tomorrow that we were talking prior to the show about, and heading to the first gala out in Miami, I believe is where it's at, right?
Yeah.
Miami. So can you let our viewers know more about exactly what the first gala is, and if they want to support, how could they possibly do so?
Well, this is my first time going. I'm kind of excited. The first gala, I think it started in New York City many years ago to help fundraise. The whole point is to help fundraise for FIRST. This is a program that we all love. And I think this one here is a combination between the gala that used to be in New York City and will.i.am's I Am Angel Foundation gala. That organization had a gala in LA. And I think this is a combination of those two events, and it's culminating in Miami.
Okay.
Tomorrow night. And it looks like they have an auction. They can auction off different various things, like meeting with key people, or having like naming a Lego character, or a Bermuda weekend, or whatever. There's various things that people can bid on, and I'm hoping that you can bid on them without even going to the gala. So I'm guessing that's the case.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. Yep.
So you can get a signed first cube. Look at that. Signed first gear. Okay.
Where's the fuel? I want signed first fuel.
I've actually got a gold plated first gear. We actually plated gold, one of those 10-tooth gears in my office.
Nice.
And
that's sick.
I've got like most of the board of directors and Dean and Woody and
that's sweet.
Dave Lavery and all kinds of other people on on that gear. It's one of my prized possessions.
That's cool.
Oh, they've added some things on here. You can
I want
you can
the
meet
part
with
of that
Rachel
Haas
Moore.
F1 car.
Yeah, the Haas F1 car one's sweet. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, before we go ahead and wrap up the show, we'll go ahead and bring Tyler back on to draw for our giveaway from AndyMark.
All right, let's do that. By the way, shout out to FTC Senior Director Rachel Moore, who's currently leading the bidding out of all the first directors so far, and she's brand new to the role. So kudos to her, to Rachel Moore for leading the bidding so far. So get your bids in on that. She's beating Colin right now. So just saying. I'm sure that's an internal office thing, right? They're all talking to each other about that. So
yeah.
What are they? Oh, people are bidding on their. Okay.
You get like a 30-minute session to speak with a senior director, or with Chris Rake or Chris Moore as well too.
Nice.
Yeah, very, very cool on there. But yeah, let's go ahead and draw for the giveaway, by the way, which was the Compliant Stars and also t-shirt. 20 years was your keyword in order to enter. And the winner for that is going to be Sean McNulty. Hey, Sean, congrats, man. Make sure you reach out to him. I know you'll reach out to me, so make sure you give me all your info so AndyMark can send that out to you. And thanks a lot to AndyMark for the awesome giveaways this evening.
I think Sean has been a customer of ours for 20 years. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Team 25 ever since we started.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to FRC Roundup. Special thanks to all those who clicked that subscribe button or stepped up to help fund through YouTube, join, or a donation. Your support really helps us continue to make great content. Don't forget, you can watch FRC Roundup archived at youtube.com/first updates now. And in about a month here, we'll be back. We'll have a show on kickoff night, breaking down crescendo strategy, and we'll be live every Monday once we get back into the competition season. So thank you to Andy for our guest for coming on tonight. On behalf of our producer, Tyler Olds, my co-host, Connor, and all fun correspondents, I'm Mick Jr., and thanks for watching. Like I said, we'll be back on kickoff evening, breaking down crescendo strategy and all that information that will be released on kickoff. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Most live shows can be found on the First Updates Now YouTube channel, live competitions at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow, and join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Check our other social offerings on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.